What if the two closest known BTS members actually showed signs of emotional distance? Was this just a momentary moment, or was there something deeper that had been hidden behind their smiles? An unexpected incident recently made many soldiers speechless, even shed tears. In an in-depth interview session that initially seemed ordinary, the atmosphere slowly turned very emotional when Jungkook suddenly lowered his head and began to cry. Many thought it was just fatigue or momentary sensitivity, but the statement from Taehyung afterwards really shook things up. Taehyung, who is usually known to be calm, full of laughter and witty, said in a deep voice, "We can be close, but it feels far away." The sentence is simple, but it holds a tremendous weight. Fans who watched live could feel the atmosphere change drastically from light laughter to heartbreaking silence. What do those words mean? Is their relationship broken? Or is it just an honest reflection of how difficult it is to maintain true closeness in the midst of pressure and inhuman schedules? Clearly, Jungkook, who heard the remark, could only look down deeper. Her tears couldn't stop flowing, and that was enough proof that what Taehyung said wasn't just empty words. The camera captured the moment when Jungkook's hand trembled, as if there were many things he wanted to say but couldn't. The army immediately flooded social media with empathetic reactions. Many admitted that they felt devastated because they did not expect that behind their funny and warm moments so far, there were hidden feelings that had never been revealed to the public. Some fans suspect that the constant pressure, expectations from the public, and lack of personal space may have created emotional distance even among the closest friends. Although they are often seen together, smiles and laughter are sometimes just a thin layer that covers deep mental fatigue. However, on the other hand, there are those who see this as a moment of honesty that actually reinforces their closeness. Because sometimes, the strongest relationships are not those that are always cheerful, but those that dare to show wounds without fear of being judged, and that's what makes this moment feel so real, maybe even too real for some of the army. Those who had always put hope and love in Taehyung and Jungkook's closeness are now forced to see that friendship also has a fragile side. Not all the laughter on screen reflects the comfort behind the stage. Some say that Taehyung looks more reserved lately, while Jungkook seems more expressive but easily touched. It all started to make sense after the phrase, "We can be close, but it feels far away," came out of Taehyung's mouth. But interestingly, after that moment, the two remain sitting side by side. No one gets up and leaves. No blaming each other. Instead, there was only silence, then a small gesture. Taehyung touched Jungkook's shoulder slowly. No further words. Just that touch. Perhaps the only form of apology or recognition that, despite the distance, there is still an intention to improve. That's what makes the fans even more touched. The moment was not filled with lengthy clarifications or self-defense. They do not speak like idols, but like ordinary people who love each other, but also sometimes do not understand each other. Some psychologists who are also BTS fans also responded. They said what Taehyung and Jungkook showed was a rare form of emotional communication in the public sphere, especially between two men in the K-pop industry who are known for being loud and stressful. When someone says "feels far away," it's not about losing love, but about the courage to acknowledge that there is a space that needs to be bridged. Now the army is no longer just looking forward to the latest appearance or comeback. They began to pray that the members would have time to heal themselves, not only the body, but also the heart. The prayers meet the comments. Don't feel like you have to be strong all the time. You already gave a lot. Now it's your turn to be loved unconditionally. And maybe that's exactly where the beauty is. Behind the grand stage and spotlights, we are reminded that even the greatest idols have lonely spaces within them. And when they chose to share it, even if it was just a piece of sentence and a drop of tears, it was a form of courage no less grandiose than the cheers of thousands of spectators. Fans from different countries united in one voice, not only to support their work, but also to support their hearts in a fan base that is often more focused on performance, chart success, and visual accomplishments. This incident shifted attention to something more important: the emotional health of the members. Many wrote that they had forgotten that behind all the glamour and success, there are human beings who can also feel alienated despite being surrounded by millions of fans. And precisely because they show that side, they become even more loved. In the days that followed, Neither Taehyung nor Jungkook issued an official statement. No lengthy clarifications, no follow-up interviews. They are back with their schedule as usual, their smiles still adorning the screen. But the ARMY knew something had changed. There is a new bond that is invisible, not only between the two friends, but also between them and their fans. An understanding that does not need to be explained in words. It's not easy for public figures like Taehyung and Jungkook to show vulnerability. The world expects them to always appear cheerful, joke with each other, hug carefree, as if their closeness is a product that must be maintained for the satisfaction of the public. But in reality, human closeness is much more complex than that. There are private spaces that cannot always be shared. There are wounds that take time, not the spotlight. And there is love that remains, even if it feels distant. Now, whenever Taehyung and Jungkook stand next to each other, ARMY no longer sees just two compatible BTS members. They see two humans who have been hurt, looking for each other, and slowly, perhaps without many words, begin to re-knit that closeness. In the silence left by that emotional moment, a more honest space is created, one that allows us to see them not as Taehyung the idol, or Jungkook the golden meanie, but as two souls growing up, lost, and trying to find each other again. Such moments cannot be faked, cannot be engineered for imaging. No script, no camera knows which angle to take best. Jungkook's crying is not part of the show. Taehyung's words are not sweet dialogue prepared for fan service. Everything is real, raw, and human. And in that silence, too, ARMY learned to love more mature. Fans who are usually fond of imagining their intimacy in ideal forms are now beginning to understand that love does not always mean no conflict. Sometimes, it is precisely the distance that is a sign that there are feelings that still want to be maintained. That if a person feels too far from the person close to him, it is precisely evidence that the relationship is important, too important to ignore.